T minus 50 seconds. T minus 40 seconds. T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Man, do I love technology sometimes. That maybe was a little bit too long of a countdown, but it's fun to enjoy these graphics and the technology that we have. Welcome back to WagerTalk TV. This is First Pitch, a 7-day-a-week baseball betting show right here on WagerTalk. Join me today, mid-major Matt Joseph, Marco D'Angelo, and Dave Koch, and my partner in crime, co-host right here on the show. It's going to be a shorter show today, but not as many games, but I find that sometimes that can make for an even better show to dive in, go very deep, go very hard into a couple different games. Dave, I'll start with you here. 16-5 MLB best bets, 10-5-1 NHL playoff run. How you doing, buddy?
I got a little greedy on the Flyers game, but when you're rolling, that's what you do. That's when you take shots. You get a little more conservative when you're not playing, doing well, and when you are, you take shots. So I played a -1 on the game and ended up with a push. Had I just played it straight, I would have won. But the baseball game won yesterday. The Oakland A's get there without much problem. I wish I'd have played more yesterday, but because if I'd have splashed the board, it would have been a hell of a day. But I'm not going to complain. I'm pretty disciplined, as everybody knows, and had that one standout yesterday on the A's that got there. And today I've got one NHL play and one baseball play that I actually like the baseball play quite a bit. And that's available right now at WagerTalk.com. How about you?
Marco,
You got to talk about your 5% winner. 5% is the biggest play we have at WagerTalk. You can't get any bigger than that. And you got it home yesterday in the NHL.
Happy to cash it. 5% winner, like you said. It was the $2 Tuesday play at WagerTalk.com. My first $2 Tuesday play since making the switch over to WagerTalk. And it was a play yesterday. So the head office decided to make it one more day for $2. And just really appreciative, Dave, honestly, for all the people that jumped on. Definitely the most people I've ever had on a play, and happy to get that cash with the under in the Flyers and the Canadians game. I think Matt and I will be going head-to-head with that every single day that they're playing. But a fun game, and happy to be rolling here in the NHL. Yesterday, it was a split for me in the MLB. I had the Reds, and that was a loser, but I had the Astros on the run line, and they kind of got their act together. But anybody is going to get their act together against the San Francisco Giants, I'd say. I'll throw it to you, Marco. For you right now, it seems you're really well-rounded, getting it together in every sport. 6-2 all sports run, 11-4 and run. Last 15 NBA plays. The bubble action is tricky to dive into. Sounds like you're doing pretty well.
Yeah, we've been very selective, Andrew, with it, and I will be till we get to the start of the playoffs with all of these lineup switches. I mean, there's no lines overnight, and then if there is a line on a game, you can bet it's going to change in the morning the minute they announce who's sitting and who's not. And really, if you've been following a lot of these line moves, the adjustments, they're over adjusting. They know the public goes crazy on this guy's not playing, that guy's not playing, and these teams are still finding ways to cover. But we're dancing through the raindrops and coming out okay with it so far. In baseball, I'm a stats guy. I need more stats. The more they play, the better my selections will be. And we're at the would be early in a normal season, but we're past the quarter point already in this year's baseball. So looking forward to it. And congrats on that $2 win. That's the most important play probably each week, because we get so many people that is their first purchase maybe ever at the site. They come to the site, they see that we have that $2 Tuesday, and they try somebody out, whether it's the first play at the site or first play for you in this instance in particular. It's a great win. Get those guys off on the right foot, and you've been doing well, so keep it up, Andrew.
I appreciate that, Marco. And like you said, with these NBA bubble games, as it closes down the regular season, looking at the slate today, I know this MLB show, but there's some question marks wondering who's this guy starting. The Celtics, their starting lineup today was unbelievable. Looking at the guys, it was pretty much a bench mob versus bench mob in that game. But Marco's rolling in both MLB and NBA. I'll throw it to you, Matt. I know you've been consistently hammering these first 5 plays, getting it done in the MLB. For you right now, the run sits at 23-16 in the MLB. What can you tell us you have up for grabs today?
Well, I'm sitting out today. The only thing I was really close to playing, and then we'll get into the Pirates-Reds game, is the first 5 under there. But yesterday, you can add my name to the list of people who hate Tim Timmons. The guy squeezed Cookie Carrasco so hard last night in that strike zone, and it got to Carrasco's head. And then we were going to get out of the inning, and he had 2 strikes to cross across the zone to Bodie with 2 outs. He didn't give him either of them. Then Bodie hits the 2-run single, and then, of course, the 7, 8, 9 hitters of the Indians get something done, which, of course, that lineup's the worst in the league. So it was a bit of a rough day, 1 and 2, and as I said, 23-16. So we're going to take a nice day off today. Not too much that we like. There's some opinions out there that we'll give, but 23-16, not terrible so far to start out the baseball season.
I got to mention something real quick. Timmons had an interesting strike zone, but I think it was Lance Barrett was working the one of the games yesterday, and this was the worst ball strike call of the year. Pitch was almost in the dirt, and he called it a strike. That was something different. By the way, this is kind of funny. Somebody, I forget which, might have been Twitter, I'm not sure which. They're getting on me and they're saying, yeah, you're bragging about your hockey and your baseball, but you're not even mentioning your NBA, so you must be terrible as far as that goes. And it's like I had to tell the guy, yeah, I don't do the NBA, so I guess I am terrible about the NBA. That's why I don't do it.
Joke? Was it a joke?
No, they thought it was one of these. It was one of those trolls. Everybody's got them. You're new in this, Andrew. You'll discover there are trolls out there.
I'm not new to the. I've seen that.
Well, yeah. So this guy's giving me a bad time, saying, "Oh, you're full of shit. You're sure you're only focusing on the. You're only highlighting the sports you're winning at." And it's like he mentions the NBA, and it's like I don't do basketball, guy. So
hey, Dave. 2 years ago, you went undefeated in the NBA.
I did. I had Kobe Bryant's retirement game. I bet everything I could on every prop with Kobe Bryant. And also gave out the Lakers.
Rest in peace.
R.I.P. Kobe. But it's like he's going to have a monster game, and there's no way they're losing this game. And he did. And then I did it again.
Dwayne Wade.
Last year with Dwayne Wade. The pisser was, I forgot that Nowitzki was also playing his final home game. And that would have covered as well. But I did. I went 100% last year in the NBA with Kobe with Dwayne Wade props on his final home game.
So Dave, I'll go to you and then Marco. Just real quick, what can we grab from you guys at WagerTalk.com today?
Well, I already mentioned mine, but just in case anybody missed it, 1 hockey game and 1 baseball game. Both are best bets, and they're $25 each. Of course, if you got wager bucks, you can use those. But, if you buy a package, then you get everything. So that's a better deal.
And
I've got one play up so far today. It's my baseball underdog shocker. Big dog, like this one. I think they got a good shot today. I may be adding a second play late, and that's why I always say best way to go is grab the all access packages because with these lineups and the way things happen on the fly, a lot of times there's just not time to post a play and really to sell it. And if you're on for, a package, you get it automatically. Right. And that's the beauty of WagerTalk. When you are on subscriptions, you get an email notification the minute your capper that you're signed up with posts a play. So you never miss it. And that's the best way to go.
Without further ado, we'll give the people what they came here for. We've got that game going on right now, Washington Nationals, New York Mets. That's currently tied at 1-1, bottom of the third. We'll kind of
had an injury in that
updates
game
on that. Go ahead, Dave.
Jeff McNeil, I didn't see the play, but I guess he ran into the wall or something, and he is out of the game, and Billy Hamilton is in to the game for the Mets. That is an offensive loss, although Hamilton had a really good at-bat before making it out. It was a 12-pitch at bat. But keep an eye on that as far as McNeil goes as to whether he's going to be out for more than one game or something, because he's a big part of that Mets attack.
Matt, I want to start with you here with the Baltimore Orioles taking on the Phillies.
Well, I mean, look, we've seen a very good Jake Arrieta so far this year. He was the last start that he had was his first start with 6 innings and 0 runs since 2018 in Arizona. He's got his sinker going right now. He had 18 of his 52 sinkers landed for called strikes last time out, and it was against a good Atlanta lineup. Because, like, look, you could say, all right, he's facing weak lineups, he's doing good against bad teams. Well, this is an Atlanta team that is hitting the ball pretty well. Still, I don't know if I could trust Jake Arrieta yet. We have not seen the Phillies lineup yet. The reason why I think it's going to be interesting is Alec Bohm, the star prospect, is reportedly getting called up. He could play third. He could play first. We could finally see Rhys Hoskins out of the lineup. They could move Segura over to second and have Alec Bohm play third. So it'll be interesting to see how they deploy things, because there are some holes in this lineup. McCutchen's not very good at leadoff. They've got some guys that are struggling right now. So I definitely want to see what the Phillies lineup is before committing to them. And then on the other side, you got Eshelman, and I think I was on the last time he started. I mean, he's just really mediocre. He doesn't have good stuff. He doesn't have bad stuff. He's just a pitcher. He's only gone 57 pitches and 37 pitches so far this year, so he's not going to go very deep. And Didi Gregorius is the only one who has seen him before. So still a lot of question marks. I'm waiting to see how the Phillies lineup comes out to see if some of those holes can get plugged up. Plus, the Phillies bullpen went down like 2 runs in ERA to like 9 after their effort yesterday. I'm not touching anything with regards to an under in this game, especially with that bullpen.
Yeah, Dave, Hunter was really, really clear yesterday with his opinion on this Phillies bullpen. I really think it would be hard to disagree with that. My question to you is, with that number we're getting with the full game money line and even with the run line in this game, how would you feel about the -0.5 run here, -140 Phillies first 5 innings?
No, I'm not really interested in it. I made it 170 for the game. Note, by the way, this is good news for Orioles fans. Chris Davis isn't playing tonight.
Is he still getting paid, though? Because that's what I think the biggest concern is.
He's getting paid all right. But they're going with Nunez at first base. I bash Chris Davis on a regular basis. I don't like his effort, and obviously he can't hit anymore. Phillies lineup is not out yet. You're correct on that. No, not much for me on this game. The Orioles, look, they're a scrappy team. The Phillies, on paper, are supposed to overwhelm them. And Arrieta has been, he looks pretty good right now, but I'm not interested in that kind of a price. And I'm just not a runs line guy in baseball. It's particularly with home teams.
So, Marco, what do we do with this price here with the Philadelphia Phillies? I mean, I don't think any of us are interested in the Orioles, but with this number, is it a play?
Well, actually, what you said, Andrew, is what I have for the game. I am interested in laying the half run with the Phillies for the first 5. I think Arrieta, first 5, the way he's been pitching, I'm going to go ahead and back him. I think that some of these, guys that are at the backside maybe of their careers, having this shortened season, I think is a big benefit to them. Look at the way, John Lester's pitching for the Cubs. It's like a new lease on life for him this year. But I'm looking at this one. Baltimore, where's all this offense coming from? They've won 4 in a row. The last 5 games, they've scored a total of 38 runs. They're hitting the lights out of the baseball. If you would have told me that, that Baltimore would be one of the most profitable teams in baseball this year, I would have asked you whatever you're smoking or intaking. Could I have some? Because you definitely would have been higher than a kite. But I think Arrieta can get it done here. I don't like the Baltimore pitcher, but I'm not comfortable with taking a full game wager with the Phillies. So I think let's get Arrieta in there. Let's get the 5 innings. And I think that they can have the lead after 5. And that's all we need to cash this one. And we're laying 150 instead of laying that big price and have to deal with the bullpen. So let's go Philly first 5 and lay the half a run for -150.
Just mention, by the way, there is a chance of rain. It's about 50-50. So keep your eye on the weather map as you approach the game, because rain is bad for starting pitchers. Okay, not that it affects them in terms of how they pitch, but if there's a rain delay, it often means there's nothing worse that if you back the starting pitcher and it's 2 innings in, and then it rains and for a half an hour and he doesn't come back in the game, and it's like, God. By the way, McNeil was carted off the field after that catch he made today, so that might not be a good thing for the Mets.
And Dave, how's that rain looking in South Korea? Because
it's been okay the last few days. Finally,
I was hanging out I'm hanging out with the in-laws. One of them's a farmer, so he's checking because he wants rain. The other one owns a car wash, so he's hoping there's no rain. And I'm checking the weather in South Korea, hoping there's no rain. So a lot of different weather reports in different parts of the world. But that was really tough for us in the KBO, and I felt like it was every play that I was on, we were getting rain, and so that was tough. But the next game here, guys, I don't want to say it would be an obvious play. Hate to use that word, but I think this sets up for a great opportunity for the Tampa Bay Rays to get the job done. And I think that the number is actually generous. This bullpen for the Boston Red Sox has been used, abused, whatever word you want to call it. And then we've got a young guy making his debut here. I'll go to you, Dave. I mean, what's the breakdown here with this game, and what's the play to look at here?
Yeah, I didn't play Tampa, but boy, I'm getting tempted with the lineup for the Red Sox. Their lineup is up. No Bogarts. Arauz is playing second. No Christian Vasquez. Plawecki's behind the plate. It's not a good lineup against Glasnow. And Hart will pitch for the Red Sox. It's his debut. He's a lefty. And I'm, a middling prospect. The one thing that would bother me, my notes are, I moved my notes here because I was doing something. What did I have here? Rays have not hit lefties so far. So Glasnow might need to pitch a good game. But look, I'm just going to say the same thing I keep saying, which is either go against the Red Sox or pass the game. They're 6-12, and they don't appear to have any interest in doing anything other than going through the motions.
Dave Koken on a 16-5 MLB best bet run. I'll throw it to you. Matt Joseph's 23-16 to start the season off. Again, I hate to use the word obvious, but with the lineups coming out, with the matchup on the mound, is it raise or pass for you as well?
Well, it's not like Glasnow's been that good, and it's not like Glasnow's gone deep, 71, 88, and 72 pitches. So he's not exactly, 11.1 innings total. So, that Rays bullpen's going to be involved in this one. Doing a little more digging into Hart, he has a underwhelming 7.8 Ks per 9 innings in his minor league career. Throws a bunch of different stuff, cutters, sliders, curveballs. But last year, AA and AAA, 12-13 with a 3.52 ERA. Lefties hit him to the tune of 284, righties to the tune of 241. So he's had more success against the righties. No Austin Meadows in the lineup. I mean, look, to me, I was going to lean to the over here, but with this Red Sox lineup out, I don't know how many runs they're going to provide. And the Rays may take a turn to figure out this kid. So I don't know. This could be one of those live in betting situations. See how the pitchers are coming out. Maybe you get in the middle. Maybe after Hart leaves, you jump in on an over or something like that. This might be a good prime live betting game situation.
Guys, I had to check in here and just look it up real quick and see what this chat box was talking about here. Strasburg just got kicked out of the game from the stands. Actually, he was just ejected from the stands. So that's something I've never even heard of, never even seen.
Derek Holland was.
It's happened a couple of times now.
Yeah, Derek Holland got kicked out.
Right.
2020
by the way,
one year, Marco.
Alonso struck out with the bases loaded, inning over.
I shouldn't say it's a fun year, but it's an interesting year. What do you think here, Marco? Rays and Bo Sox?
Yeah, I'm actually looking at a first 5-inning play here. The concern with Glasnow is he hasn't been the same pitcher coming back from injury last year. And the last 2 starts, you talked about, Matt mentioned his number of pitches. Well, one of the reasons why he's getting out of the game is he's getting himself in trouble with control. He has the last 2 starts a 10-6 strikeout to walk ratio. Not good. You don't want to be putting guys on base like that. But against this Boston lineup tonight, I think he will pitch better. With that said, and I'm also going to look at Kyle Hart, although his numbers weren't overwhelming in the minors. Career down there, he had a 25-29 record with a 3.13 ERA. I like pitchers the first time when they come up. Pitchers have the advantage over the hitters first time through the league. So where I'm going to go with this one is I'm expecting Glasnow to improve against this lineup, and I expect Hart to be okay first time through the lineup against Tampa, and I'm going to take an inflated first 5 innings under 5.5 runs here. I agree. I don't want any part of the Boston bullpen, and I really don't want to step in front of Tampa the way they're playing right now. So this is, I feel, was the best value in this game if you're going to play it first 5 under 5.5.
Love it, Marco. The question to you, back to you though. How long do we really expect Hart to last in this game? And this can go. Anyone can jump in here. I mean, you say you like to, to look for these guys to play well sometimes in the advantage. What's the average amount of time we can expect someone like him to last in a game?
Well, he's probably not. He's not pitching a complete game, obviously. But if you're concerned with the first 5, you're probably going to get 5 out of him if he's pitching well.
Mm-hmm.
Generally speaking, I think managers, unless the guy is outstanding in just mowing him down, you're going to get him out before he faces the lineup for the third time.
Pirates taking on the Reds here. Like I mentioned, I had a loser with the Reds. They lose by 1 run. This is a team that continues to kind of disappoint backers. I would say, as I mentioned, every sports betting radio show was talking about the Reds before the season started. Also the White Sox, but I think one team's lived up to it a tiny bit more than the other. I'll throw it to you, Matt. What are your thoughts here on this contest between the Pirates and the Cincinnati Reds?
Well, as I said, I didn't really officially play anything. I'm looking at the first 5 under here. You've got a Pirates team that's coming off the extra time off because they had this series against the Cardinals that were postponed, so maybe you get a bit of rustiness. DeSclafani right now is throwing his fastest fastball of his career right now, 95.1 miles per hour. His slider is working right now, and you could see the difference. Now, granted, look, he faced the Tigers, which is a very light-hitting lineup in my opinion, and Milwaukee, but he's doing well. I mean, this is a guy that has good stuff. The Reds' pitching rotation has been very good. And it's a Pirates lineup that I'm going to constantly look to play a first 5 under against. He was 0-2 against them last year, though, in 4 starts, almost a 6 ERA. And then you look at Trevor Williams. The reason why I didn't officially make this a play is because I'm a little worried about Trevor Williams. 8 days rest. He did pitch really well against the Reds last year, 1.80 ERA in 4 starts against them. And he's kind of been a little bit of a hard luck loser. 0-3 at the 3.52 ERA this year. Pitched well against the Twins last time out. So while I didn't make it an official play, I'm really heavily looking at the first 5 under here. It's 5, and that's a key number for me.
I like that as well. That's a play that just nearly made my card. And it might end up making it if I can, see some 5 still around. Like we're seeing some 5s and 5.5. So it's important you shop around, have numerous outlets. Would you guys agree with this play? I'll start with you, Dave. Would you agree with that first 5 under? I think it's the way to go here with the Pirates and Reds.
I don't think you'll see any 5.5s. It's done. I'm seeing 4.5 now.
I'm sorry. I meant to say 5 and 4.5.
Right. Well, look, what's been mentioned already, I'll just piggyback on that. Williams did pitch well his last start, clearly his best start so far this season. DeSclafani hasn't given up a run yet in his 2 starts, and he really started to come around the second half of last year. Health has been an issue for him, a constant issue, and in fact, he started camp, this summer camp, with an injury issue. But the guy can pitch. The other thing to remember here is that neither of these teams doing anything against righties. They're both hitting under 200 against right-handed pitching. Matt mentioned first 5. Well, yeah, that makes sense because you don't really want to get involved with either of these bullpens. So I get no disagreement with what anybody's been saying as far as this Pirates-Reds game is concerned.
Marco, what's the next restaurant we're going to in Vegas?
Well, that's one thing. There's always something new opening up.
I just tipped Marco, and then he knew the place anyway, which figures. Marco knows his restaurants. I tipped him on, and I'll mention this. I had something for the first time earlier this week. I was just curious about it, so it's like, okay, I'll give this a shot. Deep fried baby back ribs. Never even heard of him before. Okay, it's like, well, I like ribs. I like fried food. Okay, let's give it a shot. And it was terrific. So I mentioned it to Marco before we came on this morning, and I said, yeah, it's from this place called Texas Melts, Meltz, on West Sahara. She says, oh, yeah, I know that place. I've been there a whole bunch of times for
Well, didn't Marco used to write about restaurants? You can't.
Yeah, I still do. Dave. Yeah, I still do.
Cool, Marco. That's awesome.
Hey,
we'll get to
Marco
the game. I just want to throw a little curveball just to to prove to people I'm not just completely directly about the games nonstop.
And by the way, the deep fried baby back ribs were really fantastic. They were delicious. So I'll be ordering again. If you're in Las Vegas, take a ride over to West Sahara and Texas Melts with a Z. It's kind of a fast food type of place. Would you agree, Marco?
Yeah, you go in, order at the counter.
I mean,
you
sounds like a heart attack. Somebody right.
Well, I mean, if you eat it every day, yeah, it probably would be. But everything in moderation. Okay, everything in moderation is fine. I mean, if you drink alcohol 24/7, you're probably going to get cirrhosis of the liver. If you have a drink every now and then, or maybe a shot at night, which my grandmother did, and my dad did, and they lived to be really old. Okay, that's moderation. Anything in moderation is fine.
I used to work for a food truck here in Halifax, and it was called Beaver Tails. It's very
Nice
famous
name.
in Canada.
Okay.
It's anybody from Canada knows it. It's really famous at the Rideau Canal, which is where you can skate. A really awesome place on a river to skate. But it's fried pastries, a fried dough. So you literally stretch out
that's
dough,
good stuff.
and you have different types of recipes that you can put on, whether it's maple, peanut butter, chocolate sauce, and you can definitely say that between customers, when it was slow, I definitely tampered around and made my own specialties. And one of the things we did, it was called a beaver dog, and we would wrap the fried dough or the dough inside a hot dog, toss it in the deep fryer, then put our condiments on it, dip it back in. It's just unbelievable. So those are the days for me before Wager Talk. So if anyone thinks I just all of a sudden started working as a handicapper, it definitely wasn't just get this job right away. I definitely had some interesting jobs I was doing before. Marco, I'll get back into things. Your thoughts on the Reds and Pirates?
Yeah, I can't disagree with the first 5 innings, and I'll add a couple things there. But I also think Pittsburgh actually has a shot as a big price in this game. The rust factor, you could say it's there with them. So, maybe the first time through when they face the pitcher tonight might struggle at the plate. But in football, when we have the bye weeks, I always like to look at the bye weeks. If a team goes into the bye and they were on a roll, it's a momentum stopper. But if a team has a break and they weren't playing well, that's a chance for them to press the reset button. And man, there is nobody that's playing worse than the Pittsburgh Pirates have been playing before they had that little mini break because of the series getting canceled with St. Louis. So I think they might actually come out here with a little bit of fire and try to do something. You talked about history. Williams always pitches well against the Reds, and vice versa. The guy for Cincinnati, Desclafani, doesn't pitch well against the Pirates. Throw in, you talk about run support. Nobody has gotten less run support in Major League Baseball than Trevor Williams. His 3 starts, he's pitched 15 1/3 innings. While he's been on the mound for those 15-plus innings, the Pirates have scored exactly 1 run for him in 15 innings. So, that's got to even itself out. I'm going to take a shot with him at a price here, and I can't disagree with the first 5 with the under as well, given what we've talked about. In the Reds, do you want to lay that big of a price with a team that's just 3-9 versus right-handers this season, even though it's against the Pirates? No, I'm not doing that. I think Pittsburgh's a live dog.
By the way, Andrew, let me add something here. Keone Keela has just been activated, and that's going to be a big piece to the Pirates bullpen. Now, I don't think he's going to close right away, but that's a nice arm for the Pirates bullpen to have later on.
Well, if he's on the Pirates, he might not close at all. You have to be ahead to close. Hulk 702.
Matt.
Hulk 702 is asking where on West Sahara. It's the name of the place is Texas Melts, MELTZ. So just punch it into your phone and you'll get your answer.
I think the cross streets are West Sahara and Decatur. That is a big plaza area right there.
Somebody commented the Food Channel to us, and as in the time that I've hosted shows on Wager Talk, I have never ever gotten a comment about getting sidetracked. So, cheers to that. I'm happy to have it. No, it is what it is. It's a short schedule.
Okay, and listen, no joke. Marco knows his restaurants, and I legitimately am a contender for the worst cook in the history of this planet.
Oh, it's funny you mention that.
I am just awful. I basically I've been banned from kitchens. Okay,
Dave's gotten to know the delivery driver pretty well.
Stay out of there.
Is the delivery driver cute?
It means I eat out all the time. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, basically. So I know my restaurants, and there you go.
Funny you mention that because only one of us on the panel has ever been on the Food Network, and that would be me.
It wouldn't be me. Really? You're on the Food Network?
I was on the Food Network. Ironically, if the show, it sounds like it would be perfect for you. I was on Worst Cooks in America.
No, I couldn't even make that.
Were you actually?
Yeah, season 10. You can go look it up. I was on season 10 of Worst Cooks in America.
Wow. Did you lose?
Well, not right away, but eventually, yeah, I didn't win the show.
What did you?
So
what did
you were
make?
cooking food for
and
us
how
tonight.
bad was
What
it?
are you making, Matt?
Oh, God. I mean, the stuff we had to make on that show was pretty ridiculous. It was like hundreds of dollars of ingredients. Like there was tarragon and all sorts of things I'd never even heard of. I mean, Marco would enjoy this. We made essentially a Primanti Brothers sandwich. Rachel Ray was my teacher. She taught us how to make a Primanti Brothers sandwich, essentially with the fries and everything. And that was quite the extensive thing.
Which is also the most overrated sandwich. Everybody talks about the Primanti Brothers, and every time somebody would come visit me in Pittsburgh when I lived there, let's go get a Primanti. I didn't like them.
I'll give you the other, and I'm sorry, no offense to anybody who likes it, but Skyline chili, holy crap, is that stuff awful?
You just ticked off Brian Leonard.
Well, I don't care. I don't like chili. I don't like chili anyway, and that stuff is just. Listen,
So what you're telling me, Matt,
Matt Humans loves McRibs. They're terrible. They are. Says somebody, and I am a rib aficionado. I know my ribs. Jesus, they're just brutal.
So I've just found out I'm hosting a show with 3 celebrities. So that's that made my day. So there we go with that. Someone says I don't know if that's anything to be proud about, Matt. Nothing to be proud about. Someone says I think it's pretty cool to be on a show like that, Matt, and to not be the first one out. Yeah. That's an accomplishment too. So that's pretty awesome. I'll have to go back and look at that. Next game up, Darvish, Anderson. We got Brewers, Cubs. Nice to have a couple laughs and smiles on the show, guys. Always fun. Dave, I'll go to you here with this one.
Well, I'll make this one pretty simple. You don't want to fade Darvish right now. He had a so-so first start, and it's since gotten right back into the form he had in the second half of last season. I mean, this guy, that cutter he's got is just plain nasty. I don't even know why he throws some of his other stuff. I guess just to keep himself entertained, because you can't hit the damn thing. His control with it is impeccable. Darvish still carries the bad rap from that playoff disaster a few years ago, but this guy's a really good pitcher. I mean, a really good pitcher. The Cubs are playing tremendous baseball. It just looks like a tough spot for the Brewers to me, because they're probably not going to get much. And by the way, mentioned this yesterday, we'll mention it again, because it certainly, they didn't change things yesterday. The Brewers' first 5 offense, worst in baseball.
You can't argue with Darvish right now, Marco. What are you thinking here in this one? Is the price right, or is it, again, just a little bit too big here?
Yeah, the price is getting too big. Milwaukee's underachieving. There's no question about that. They were expected to do more than they've done so far. And it's been feast or famine with this team. They either score a ton of runs or they don't score any. They don't have those middle games. I think they have 7 games where they scored 2 runs or less this season. And I think they have 7 games where they scored 5 or more. They're just, on opposite ends of the spectrum. But I look at Darvish. You can't argue with his numbers, but let's put a little asterisk there. Those last 2 starts were against Pittsburgh and Kansas City. Not exactly powerhouses as far as teams go, but, phenomenal strikeout to walk ratio. He's got everything working right now. This is one of the games I'm not going to get involved in. The Cubs are playing great baseball. Manager Ross got him, they're buying into everything, but this is a team that now you're starting to pay a hefty price for, and I just don't think the value's there with them. I'll pass.
We just had a scoring change in the Nationals-Mets game. Future Hall of Famer Thomas Nido. Yeah, I'm joking on the future Hall of Famer. Thomas Nido with a 2-run homer, and the Mets go up 3-1.
Matt, I've been talking about how, we're going from 162 games to 60. So how many games do we really give teams, a little bit of a hiccup? And Marco mentioned about this Brewers team. They either score or they don't at all. With this matchup in particular, what are you thinking here? I mean, is it a clear play on Darvish, or do you look at it and just kind of stay off? What's the play, side or total from you?
Well, I'm never going to back Brett Anderson, especially. I mean, he's due for a blister. We talked about. I was on the last time he had his last start. He's due for a blister. He's got the issues with that. And by the way, his piggyback's actually better than him. I don't know why they just don't start Corbin Burns anyway. I mean, he ends up coming in, does pretty well in the middle innings. He should probably just start and get rid of Anderson altogether. So to me, once again, I mean, look, I guess there's a chance I would consider a live in-game thing once Anderson leaves, depending upon what the situation is, because Burns has been a guy that I like in those middle innings, but it all depends on who's winning, how many runs are scored, and things like that. So I'll probably wait till Anderson gets out of the way, and if the situation hits, maybe I'll back the Brewers in some sort of fashion later on.
What do you think here for a total, Marco?
With Milwaukee, I'm going to lean more to the under than I am going to the over in the way Darvish is pitching. I'm not going to, look for him to get lit up. So if I played it anywhere, I would play the under. But, once the bullpens get involved, then you hold your breath. Milwaukee's always had the dominant bullpen. That's supposed to be their strength, but it hasn't been that dominant this year. Not been a total wreck like some of the other teams, but it's an under or pass. This is just one game tonight that just didn't entice me at all.
Matt, I know I can count on you for some fantasy stuff and some player prop stuff. We have Scott here saying, good afternoon, gentlemen. Thanks for all your help. Going with Darvish under 7.5 Ks today. What are your thoughts, Matt?
I mean, the last time, so they faced off on July 25th, and he had 5 strikeouts in 4 innings. I mean, it's probably not the best wager, I would say. I think I may attack Darvish when it comes to the DFS part, but I don't know if I want to fade Darvish if he had 5 strikeouts in 4 innings the first time, and it's not like the Brewers lineup is that much better than it was all the way back in July.
What about you, Marco? Anything you'd recommend with that, under, over?
No, the way he pitched in that first one, and the 2 subsequent starts after that, Darvish is only getting better right now. So, no, I would not take the under on that.
I can't believe this. The news that's breaking on this show is just unbelievable. Hulk 702 just puts the Habs coach hospitalized, and I look on Twitter, and Claude Julien has just been rushed to the hospital.
Really?
I mean, unbelievable.
Good.
Rushed to the hospital suffering chest pains following last night's game. And now people are making jokes that he had a heart attack because of all the scoring chances. That's tough to see. Hopefully
it's not something to joke about. Hope he's okay.
Definitely not. Hope he's okay, and hopefully he's back on the bench sooner than later. Dave, I'll throw it to you for our last game, and it's certainly not the least because this is the one that I think most of the chat was waiting for. Padres Dodgers. This is an opportunity here. I'll just kind of segue in here. With Paddock on the mound for the Padres, we're getting a better price, I think, with the Dodgers than we usually would have, obviously. Is it a good enough price to pull the trigger on the Dodgers side?
No, not for me. Paddock's not a guy I want to go against. It's as simple as that. He can be dominant. Arias can as well. Padres are playing good ball. I mean, and they got a lot of fight in them. Even, they got beat 6-0 yesterday. They had the bases loaded and nobody out in the 9th inning and forced the Dodgers to go to Jansen. It was supposed to be a night off for KJ, and they had to get him up in the bullpen and had him come in to nail down the save. So, they're a gritty team. The difference between this Padres team and different editions of the Padres is our team really believes in itself. I think they think they're a good team, and they are a pretty good team. The Dodgers are better, but Paddock's a guy I don't like going against. And for me, I'm not getting enough of a price to take the Padres because I made the game 153, so I'm not getting the value I need to take San Diego, but I don't want to lay a price against Paddock. Right. And he's right more often than he's not. He can dominate a lineup. And says the sneak this one out. I'm not going to bet it, but if that feelings, I like the Padres.
A lot of times, Marco, I find you can get an edge, or it's easier to find or research on games that might not be getting as much attention, which might sound backwards to some people, but obviously in our chat box, and I think the general public are going to be interested in betting this game. Is this one that you're interested in putting some money on, or maybe just taking a step back?
Well, obviously, it'll be the most bet game of the night. It's the last game on the card. It features one of the best young pitchers in baseball, and then it has the Dodgers is the other team involved. So, yes, this game's going to get a lot of action. Chris Paddock, he's a stud. There's no question about it. He has done absolutely nothing wrong. He's allowed 3 runs or less in all of his starts this season. His strikeout to walk ratio, 21-3. The only thing, if you want to put an asterisk on anything with him, and you get this a lot of times with power pitchers, if he makes a mistake, it's going yard. And he has given up 4 home runs in his last 3 starts. That's the only knock I can give on him. And the one thing now with Paddock, we know how, nicknamed the sheriff and everything, and he gets pumped up because of the success he had last year. He's now also, he's not a surprise anymore.
No.
He's going to get the attention of every opposing team. They're going to get up for him, especially the Dodgers. And, sometimes we've watched the Dodgers and we said, hey, does it look like maybe they're going through the motions at times? Well, they're not going to go through the motions against a pitcher like Chris Paddock. This is a game where I know you wouldn't want to think this way on the surface, but the way the Padres have hit the baseball this year, and if he gives up, 1 or 2 home runs, I kind of lean to the over in this one. I think we're getting, a soft number because of the pitching name there. And I'm going to take a look at the over if I do anything in this game.
Well, we always talk about how, the pitchers are really deciding the number big time, or moving the numbers. And we have a great crew here in the chat. We're seeing some great stats here listed, everybody putting their input. But Matt, gentleman here said, how do you bet against Paddock? I think you can bet against.
You find the game on the menu, and then you click on Dodgers, and then you hit enter.
Yeah, and I also, once you say the word Dodgers,
might not be able to tell you how to. I might not be able to tell you how to cook anything, but I can tell you how to enter a bet. That's how you do it.
Well, that's why we have our next show coming up, Cooking with Cokin and Mixing it with Matt.
Okay.
So we got all that. We got all this going on here. That's not on WagerTalk, but we're going to start a brand new channel for Dave because he clearly doesn't have enough on his hands with all this handicapping. Matt, what do you think here with the nightcap?
Well, it's funny. We're heaping all this praise on Paddock, and last time out, I would say by his standards, he wasn't even that good. 56 strikes and 95 pitches. He gave up those 3 runs and 5 hits, and he hasn't gone that deep. 5 2/3, 6 innings, 5 innings.
They're still careful with him on pitch counts.
Oh, and that's another reason why I would consider potentially the first 5, because if he's only going to go 5-ish, and I want nothing to do with the Padres bullpen right now, I would consider, there are some people, there's 2 ways to go. You could go and say, all right, the Padres are going to win these first 5 innings and take the money line. Or if you think it's going to be a 1-1, 0-0 type thing, you take the +0.5, and then you got the Padres. If it is a tie game, you get a win no matter what. So to me, I'm looking at the Padres in the first 5 innings. He looked good against, the Dodgers that first time earlier this month. Urias is getting an extra day of rest. They're really treating him like a very delicate flower here. He's only gone 78, 90, and 78 pitches. And I would say he hasn't exactly been that dominant with the 13 hits in 15 innings. So to me, I'm looking at the Padres' first 5 innings, and whether you want to take the money line and be daring, or you want to take the +0.5 and hope that it's a tie game. But I'm looking Padres' first 5 innings tonight.
Marco mentioned the over in this game with the soft number. The way I'm looking at it here, and we mentioned as the later this game would get, I think the more of a chance we have, despite the bullpen stats that were listed in our chat box. I'm quite a bit of an in-game bettor. I think I would look more maybe towards the 4th or 5th inning. If things start off slow, we're going to get an even better number and to pull trigger on that in-game over. If I see something I like, I'll certainly tweet that out. You can find me on Twitter at McGinnis Picks, Midmajor Matt at Midmajor Matt, Marco at Marco in Vegas, and Dave at Dave Koken. We've taken 45 minutes to discuss less games than we usually do when we take less time, but I've enjoyed doing it. I'm going to go with you, Dave, your DFS stud and your DFS sleeper.
DeSclafani or Williams. Take your pick. I think I'd take Williams because the price will be lower And he's facing a Reds team that isn't doing anything offensively right now. And the stack, you know, I don't have one. I'd rather not make up one. So I don't know. I suppose you could look at some of the cheaper Phillies, maybe.
What are you thinking here, Matt?
Well, I mean, I'll go along with what Dave was saying. I'll take you, Darvish, and then I'm going to go with Alec Baum. I mean, they just the lineup just came out. He's hitting
did it come out?
He's hitting sixth. It is Segura's at second, Baum's at third, so no Kingery in the lineup. So at least that hole is gone. McCutchen is leading off, which is still a problem. Hoskins is actually not in the lineup either, so that's good. Neil Walker's at first base. They actually put Adam Hazley on the 10-day IL, which is actually a big loss for them because Hazley's been one of their big hitters. But I'll take a chance with Darvish and go really cheap with Alec Baum today.
Marco, I know at first you weren't really, dabbling with this stuff, but you gave us one last time you were on the show. So is there anything that you would look for, either stacking it with batters or a pitcher to add for value?
If you want to take a pitcher for value, he's got to be cheap. And I'm going to say Trevor Williams. He's had a great history against the Reds. The Reds don't hit right-handers. If you want to get some value, I don't think you can find better value than taking any Pittsburgh Pirate player. And that'll give you a lot of extra room for stacking a lineup to go. This is not my specialty. I'll say that, but that's where I would look tonight.
Well, guys, it's been a fun show. I appreciate your time. All the viewers here, the live chat, we had over 300 people viewing this show live. Please subscribe to WagerTalk TV. Hit the like button on this video. And also, be sure to hit that bell when you're looking at the channel, because you'll actually get alerts and you'll get notified when we're going live. Every single show on WagerTalk now is a live show. And as you can tell, we do enjoy, whether it's talking about ribs or talking about the Dodgers, we enjoy talking with you guys, the viewers of this show. For myself, I won't be seeing you guys until not this coming Monday, but the Monday after that. And then I'm getting knee surgery that Wednesday, so I'll be out of the picture for a little while, but probably good because you're probably getting sick of me. So it'll be a little break from this face. For Matt, for Dave, for Marco, I appreciate you guys' time. We'll see you tomorrow, regular time on First Pitch, 2 p.m. Eastern. Good luck with your wagers, guys, and we'll see you tomorrow.